Voilà, je vous remercie et je passe la parole à Duncan.
Merci Bruno. Bonjour. Firstly, please excuse me for I will do the next 3 or 4 slides speaking in English. If I try to speak in French, we may be here till midnight. Okay, to start with, I'd like to explain how we intend to expand Digigraphie throughout Europe. In 2006, we decided, as a result of the success of the business in France, of the Digigraphie label, that we would extend Digigraphie across Europe. We did this by encouraging both the artistic community and our colleagues in Epson Italy, in Epson Spain, etc., to develop this. But it was slightly slow. So last year at Photokina, the Photokina 2008, we decided to actually have a Digigraphie exposition within our stand at Photokina. And we were pleasantly surprised at the interest that we got and the good feedback that we got from photographers, from artists, and from laboratories throughout countries in Europe. As a result of that effort at Photokina, we have decided to invest more heavily in supporting the infrastructure that supports Digigraphie across Europe. To that extent, we have appointed someone in Europe a dedicated business manager to assisting the spread of Digigraphie throughout the other European countries. So as of today, we are pretty much established throughout Western Europe. Digigraphie has been launched now in Italy, in Spain and Portugal, in Germany, in the Pays-Bas, and also in Scandinavia. And we should be launching in some of the other countries, Grand Bretagne, we should be launching before the end of the year, and artists and photographers within Britain can already join the scheme, but the scheme that is based in France. Interestingly, as a result of the work that we have done in Europe, we are now getting demand from artists outside of Europe, specifically in the United States and Canada, but also in Japan, Australia, and I believe we had a request from Thailand recently. As a result of this, we are now working with our colleagues around the world to establish labs that will be able to fulfill the Digigraphie commitment to the artists, and we have established one lab in Israel and one lab in Washington, D.C. To date, outside Europe. Digigraphie is now a great success. We have over 800 artists registered as digigraphers. We have around 7,700 images. Now, around 60-65% of those are photographs. The rest of them are pieces of reproduced art. They can be cartoons, digital art, etc. To support that business, we have over 100 labs now appointed and approved to support Digigraphie. And these labs are regularly in contact with us. They regularly manage the quality together with Epson so that a guarantee can be given to the artist, and a regular guarantee can also always be given to the artist that is producing their work through these labs. Many of the artists decide to do both. They may produce their smaller prints, their A2 and A3 prints, they may produce themselves using a Stylus Pro 3800 or 4880, whilst contracting out the larger prints to the specialist lab to perform on their behalf. And as far as we're concerned, giving the flexibility to the artist to do that is one of the important parts of the Digigraphie program. As a result of the success of the program with artists and with labs, we had been approached by numerous museums to see what we could do to support the art collections they had from dead artists. The program itself was designed initially to support living artists, to support them selling their work. But what we have done, together with some very famous museums, and as you can see, we have worked in the recent past with both Le Louvre in Paris and El Prado in Madrid. We've worked with them to offer the same level of guarantee on artistic collections, just without the signature of the artist, which is obviously impossible. On top of that, we have numerous galleries, art galleries, interested and working with us. Studio Equus have been working with us now for many years with Digigraphie, but also photographic galleries such as Art Curial and Agathe Gaillard are also now regularly exhibiting digigraphs in their galleries. So Digigraphie Collection. This label that we have created increases the value of artistic collections and can help and support the communication of cultural heritage both internationally and within a country. Here we have just an example that was from Ingres' exhibition in Le Louvre, where the digigraphs were created separately but to go alongside the exposition. The other instance in El Prado, the digigraphs were actually on show within El Prado, and that was 18 months ago. Basically, all museums, both national and private, can now offer visitors the chance to acquire a limited edition piece of work. Okay? The label follows the same rules as traditional digigraphie. Okay? And the idea is that museums, galleries, traveling expositions can basically add value and also help pay for those expositions by selling a limited number of these works alongside the exposition that they have. Finally today, before I hand over, I'd just like to explain that we have various sites within Arles this week or over the next 2 to 3 months which will be showing digigraphs. And Epson France have very kindly created a small brochure that explains where within Arles you can see digigraphs on exposition. So please pick one of these up and help yourself to visiting these expositions during the show. Okay. Now I'd like to hand over to Jean-Luc Montoroso, who is the chef de la Maison de la European Photographie. Oui?